bears.
All the bears.
They're called bears. Yeah. I know. I was trying to see what I had saved because there was so much amazing and fun stuff that happened on the world of Instagram this week.
Oh.
Did you see anything that was particularly funny to you, Tyanna?
On what Instagram?
On just in general. Do you?
I'm not on there.
Are you looking at anything that we're sending to you?
No,
I'm
she
sorry.
don't.
Send it to the one I have on my phone now. I'm gonna tell you which one I have on.
Oh, you got a new
phone.
IG now?
No, it's the same. It's one I had like 3 of them, so it's one of the
Why?
3. I'm crazy.
I have a few too.
Yeah,
Why? I have one.
so I'm gonna tell y'all which one to start sending to since it's now like on my phone. The other ones are on my old phone, so I have to figure out the passwords.
Oh Lord.
But let's talk about, since we're on the topic of shows, Love is Blind is back, guys.
Yes, the fuck it is.
Have you saw any of it yet?
Yes,
Yes,
I'm all the way caught up.
You haven't, huh?
No.
Okay, you got this week to catch up. We give me
I know. Why do they give me such
we
fun
give you
things
this-
to look at?
right.
Because it's worth it. I mean, like, to me, this is better than The Bachelor. When people are like, oh my God, The Bachelor, I'll be like, oh my
Okay.
God, Love is Blind.
So
Like, it's good.
Okay, I want to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Do you
Which,
ever-
well, I'm caught up, I think. They had a reunion this week.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah,
with
so
the
I'm
reunion,
caught up.
what are you going with the reunion?
Well, I just feel like sometimes they overdo it. Like this whole thing with Kyle and Kathy and Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna, girl, you are the biggest hypocrite because at the end of the day, you lash out on every motherfucking body.
Everybody.
And then you apologize and you said like, oh, it's because my mom died. And I get that. Like we all have moments where something else is going on in our lives and so we lash out. But it's okay for you to do that and be forgiven, but not okay for Kathy. To me, I feel like it's because she is Kathy Hilton. And that comes with some like, oh, treat Kathy like she's up here. No, Kathy is human just like the rest of us. So treat her like you would treat Erica Jane. Erica Jane say crazy stuff all the time. Y'all forgive her.
They take up for her is always,
Right.
well, you have to understand that she's going through a lot right now. So they
Right.
have all, and so I kind of feel like, do you watch it at all? No. Well,
I'm gonna.
you don't have to do it.
You don't have to.
Oh, it's too late.
I'm-
It's too
Yeah,
late,
but
baby.
I mean, they're on reunion episode number 2 now. This is about to be episode number 3 next week. So
So what do you
Don't
think
worry.
about Tupac's ex-girlfriend claiming that he told her he had sex with Faith Evans the day before it was reported actually?
what?
Yeah, hold on.
Why is this coming up now? Why is she doing this now?
You know how
I'm so
people are.
confused.
There we go. Why is she doing this now? With all these people trying to do talks and everything. Oh, I'm hitting this button over here, y'all.
I was wondering what was happening.
I'm
I'm like,
hitting a button beside me, and it's just going.
it's
okay,
going berserko.
There we go.
Okay.
So what happens is, everybody has podcasts now. Hello, right? And so with the podcast, it's like if we got her to come to our show because she's Tupac's ex-girlfriend, it's like, okay, tell us about Tupac. And so she just happened to say that he said he had had sex with Faith Evans. And, that's one of the reasons, supposedly,
That him and Biggie had beef.
right. And so that was something that was on there. And, the wonderful Mr. Well, first of all, the reason I brought up the Housewives is because look at that. The geo matches. So they had a big deal because Garcelle.
Oh, so it was Lisa Rinna.
That's what they're saying. So, but imagine, do you remember Garcelle from Star Search? You remember Star Search?
She was on Star Search?
Girl, she was that model.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Do you remember there was a black model who went all the way and won Star Search?
I don't remember that,
Garcelle
but
Bogus.
wow, I didn't know that she was on Star Search. I was here for like the singers. I never like paid attention to the
Got you.
other category.
Yeah.
I
What
just
about
remember Garcelle. Wasn't she on?
another?
Jamie Foxx
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, same.
And
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
You're
So,
the biggest bully in Hollywood.
so they're talking about Kathy Rinna being
Daughter
At least
kidnapped in
they're
the middle of the night.
and then she got pissed off because someone mentioned something on the show in their book. And so she is butt aching because of, how could you write something about my daughter in your book? Kids are off limits. She says, I only repeated the same exact thing that we said on the show.
On the show.
So it was nothing. And I'm just saying, I was paraphrasing exactly what was on the show, and I'm explaining what was happening in the show. So I don't understand why you get upset. And so everybody was behind Garcelle.
Yeah.
But Lisa is always trying to play a victim, you know?
You know, it's one of those things. Lisa believes in being a victim. And I think the whole thing with her daughter and the eating disorder is really hard. And I think she does feel like with what Garcelle said. So last year or the year before, Garcelle had said, do you think your daughters have eating disorders because of how you look? Because she's like super skinny. She, you know, works out like a maniac, probably watches what she eats. But her daughters, well, I think only one talked about it on the show, had an eating disorder. And she was like, do you think, Garcelle had said something one time, like, do you think you should post that picture of you looking like that when your daughter has an eating disorder?
Right.
And she was like, what does that have to do with anything? But we have to be cautious. And I understand where Garcelle was coming from, because the image you put out there might be putting pressure on your child to look like you. So, of course, Lisa, I'm a victim. She's saying that I da. No, she's just saying be mindful of how you put your image out there, because what you're projecting could be something that your daughter is like, I have to live up to the standard. And I understood what Garcelle was saying. But I feel like at this point, ain't no love for Lisa Rinna on my end. I feel like she is a little sneaky. I feel like she contradicts
all the time. It's always, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, no, we're going to talk about it. So she always tries to throw people under the bus by saying, let's just talk about it. No, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So they make jokes with her saying, let's just talk about it. No, we're going to talk about it. Let's just talk about it. No, we're going to talk about it. So she always tries to push things to the front.
Yep.
And so that's her little tagline. But she was booed at all of the Bravo things.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
BravoCon.
Somebody's tired today.
No. That was just an air yawn. I needed some oxygen.
So it says, another interesting article that I saw was mother shocked after ex-husband left her for daughter once she turned 18. The daughter then became pregnant with the man's child. So evidently what happened, according to the New York
Help
Post,
me to understand
this
it.
is on Reddit, and the daughter, well, the mom married the guy when the daughter was 3 years old, right? And so 7 years later, the mom had a little boy. And so their family was perfectly and complete. So the daughter's now 10. When she turned 18, the father says, hey, guess what? I'm calling it quits. And I'm calling it quits with your daughter. Boom. And so she turned 18. They got married. And now the daughter is pregnant with their first child. How about that? Isn't that sweet?
You're so stupid.
It's not sweet, but it's not unheard of. So it's like Woody Allen.
Right.
Woody Allen married Soon Yi. Soon Yi was his daughter. He raised her. And it's, he adopted her and raised her. So to me, although it's shocking, it's not unheard of. And it's disgusting. I would feel some type of way if that was my dude, but guys out here.
Can I say something? If it was on Game of Thrones, how would you feel about it?
I'll be here for it. I'll be like, oh my God. And then
I'm just saying,
like that already happens.
I know,
so then
I'm
Khaleesi's daddy
exactly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
ain't really her daddy. And so then they together.
Right. So I'm just wondering. But no, it's because, of our morals. But I was just wondering because I'm like, what, that is so funny because that's really not her dad, technically. No. However, he did raise her as a dad. And then you think to yourself, okay, were you like looking at her the whole time? Like you guys, you had to be molesting her at some point in order to see that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but back in the day, imagine if that happened and this was back in the 50s or something, right? And then you have a mom that might be an alcoholic. And then you have that daughter who starts to basically be a mom. Mm-hmm. She's being the mom for the mom who's the alcoholic with the stepfather. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're trying to raise a family. Then that has happened probably in the past. That gives me some type Color Purple type vibes where this person stepped in and they fell in love because they were already acting as husband and
if.
wife, and then
Yeah.
your mom really wasn't. Your dad was not your dad. It was just your mom, husband. And what would you feel about it in those cases?
The same way.
Gross.
Like, only because, like, at what point is the man recognizing that his feelings are going beyond a father and daughter situation? You know, how long have you been living with this family and feeling like you're growing closer, but in a different way to this daughter? Because then that means, first of all, you've been pulling the roots. Now, yes, if I'm an alcoholic or on some sort of drugs, then, you know, I understand that the situation is complicated.
Okay, so what
But
if she had graduated high school and everything and left, and then came back and she was 24, and then they decided to start?
well, if he didn't have a hand in raising her,
No, but he still had a hand in raising her.
oh, but he
The
still
Woody
had a
Allen
hand in
type
raising
thing.
her. No,
So
I
she
just
went off
can't
the-
get jiggy with it. If you're having a hand in raising the person as your child, that's how you're raising them, as your child, not as I'm just here to be a mentor and a friend. No, you're raising them as your child.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, right.
But like you're saying, some men might think that I'm raising you to be a mentor.
I think.
Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Remember the adoption thing? And I'm not saying, but his thing is let me be a mentor to your son. I'm not going to adopt your son
Yep.
because your son has a father who wants
Who
to be
wants
in his
to be
life.
in his life?
And so, boom. But I understand. I'm just saying. I understand what you're saying. I'm just being.
Listen, I'm right there with you, Tyanna. I feel like the minute you start raising somebody like they were your God-given child, it's gross, it's disgusting. It should not happen.
if he lived in the house with them all
Yes.
and they were married.
Yes,
I'm in agreement
I am
as well.
in agreement.
I'm
I'm
totally-
like, this is just that I can't get jiggy with it. It's just, it's gross.
Yeah.
Because what if that was your birth child? So you mean to tell me that you would do the same thing to your own birth child? Like when people adopt, I feel like when you adopt, you're saying, I am now going to raise you as if I have given life to you. So when you start doing all these other freaky chic things, it just make things go a little haywire for me. So
And there is too many other people in this world for you to feel like, oh,
well, the wife is in the house too, so
Yeah, and
don't get that.
I agree with what
Yeah,
you're saying.
it's
Like there are too
like-
many other people for you to choose from. Like when I was younger, I had a best friend who, no matter who I slept with, it seemed like he just had to have him. Even if I was wanting to be in a great, this is my best friend, so I'm just like, I still love him. But it's just like, he was going to have some type of relationship with that person just
Yeah.
to probably let me know that,
I could get him too.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so, of course,
competition.
baby, you don't mess with me, girl.
and I know
You don't
that's the
mess with
situation
me.
sometimes with the mother and daughter, especially when they're at odds or it's a complicated or toxic mother and daughter relationship. But at the same token, you as a grown man, you should have the responsibility is on you to know the difference between right and wrong. And I do see a wrong there.
I agree. I'm totally in agreement with you. But I also think that that is totally wrong in general. Even if you're in the house, if you're an uncle, if you're like a father
Yep.
figure to that person.
Anybody.
If you have known that person since they were a child, if you were in that person's life, if you've seen them every Christmas as a child and you're growing up, that's a no. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering because, like times have changed, people have changed. But I even probably back then, I guess I would see it. Well, now that we can see that there's so many other people, it's not like, okay, girl, you can travel and you can go to another city or you can find someone. So yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about the Kanye fiasco this week? So it's always something with him.
It's always something, and then I think what it boils down to is mental health. The man needs help, and we keep giving him a spotlight, but the spotlight should then turn to, let's take him to get evaluated. Let's keep him on a 72-hour hold. The man clearly is not in his right frame of mind, I feel, and I think the more attention he gets, the more berserk he becomes. And it's like, sir, I think you need help. So that's how I'm looking at it. But what you think of what happened this week?
Oh, well, my favorite was Charlemagne. So
what happened?
Charlamagne was on a podcast, and Charlamagne was like, Kanye said something about his dick, and he got mad at me because because of Pete Davidson. He says, why are you talking to Pete Davidson and help me because my wife is fucking a guy with a 10-inch dick, a 10-inch dong. And so it was just this whole thing all on.
I heard about that.
And so he was just upset that he was like, hey, you got to help me because my wife is messing with this guy with a 10-inch dong, blah, 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 blah. And, he's a white guy with a 10-inch dong. You're not going to help me? You're not going to help me? Let me pull it up for you.
Lord. But what does the size of this man's penis have to do with anything?
The fact that he was a part of the culture. That's what he said. You're a part of the culture. You're not going to help me. And this white man is with a 10-inch dick is fucking my wife. In reverse of a white man with saying this black man with a 10-inch dick is tearing up my wife.
Got it. Now I can understand it. So he's really on this, on white shit.
Okay. Yeah, but I did hear about that, and
and how he know that Pete got a 10-inch dick? He seen it.
I wanted the same thing. I was like, how does he know that?
Kim told him. Kim was probably like, I'm having some of the best sex of my entire life.
So because it says
and I thought they were broken up.
They are.
Oh, it said that she was dating him because he's got a bigger dick.
Right. Because Charlamagne was on Drink Champs on Wednesday, and he brought up Kanye's appearance on the Drink Champs podcast where he said Charlamagne, the God, was telling people that Ye's ex-wife Kim Kardashian was dating Davidson because he had a bigger dick. And Charlamagne the God said the claim originated from a phone call between him and Kanye last year, Ye last year, where he said that the rapper tried to get me on board to shit on someone who he knows is my friend Pete Davidson. And then he reminded him that they were friends, and he said he started yelling at me. He said, my wife is out here fucking a white boy with a 10-inch penis, and you won't help me? And he says, you're telling me that's your friend when you're supposed to be in the culture? That's the part I was talking about. And he said he didn't know what to do but to laugh at it. And then he says, don't make me tell everybody why you really mad. Charlamagne said that he told Ye at the time. And people were speculating that it was about that. But he never said anything until now.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. I think it's funny. I think there's something wrong with Kanye. And I think when Kanye's doing an interview, remember...
He heartbroken.
Girl, but it was so funny because we were joking with you one day about switching your voice. And we were like, oh, why are you switching your voice? Blah, 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 blah. The next day, Kanye was on one of the podcasts. And it was like he was talking like he was a totally different person. He had his white voice on a lot like this. And he'd say, hey, a teenage boy got hit by my teenage daughter at school. And we had a parents' conference. I saw the boy's dad. It was love. We had sex. I convinced my daughter not to press charges. Her face will heal. Dad said, okay. Dad fucked me. His son teased my daughter. He fucked your mama to drop the charges. That was my next podcast. I just had to put on my Kanye impression.
But then it made it hard for me to understand what you're saying. I'm like,
you can understand? Okay. So anyway, this is, I'm moving on. I'm moving on to the next topic. I was trying